Join us and unwind with a good book. Welcome to Relaxing Reads.
Hi. I like your hoodie.
Oh, thanks. It's a breeze.
I know. I like it. I like the color.
Yeah. This is, I got this one like a few years ago, and then they ordered more. The ones they ordered are a little thinner than this one, but
Okay.
This is a nice, big, cozy, ready for whatever season's coming.
Ready for a cozy trip to a cabin. We're all
Yeah.
So how are you both doing? What's new and exciting?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's once you get into this holiday season, isn't it like, I don't know where my head is? Even if you're ready and you're prepared and you start to do whatever the things are that you need to do, I feel really out there.
Yeah, it seems like it's a long checklist of things. Once you get there, it's nice and you hope you can relax, but the lead up to it and just the planning and organization, if you have a lot to do, it just kind of floats in your head. Yeah, even though you have your day-to-day checklist, you have your work, you have things just in your head, and you're still like, am I going to do some Black Friday shopping to get ahead of this? Have you thought about this person? Is there a dinner happening here? What about that party? What are you wearing? It's like just floating in there. That's what I feel.
I feel like I have all the time in the world to do Christmas stuff and like get together with people. And then all of a sudden I don't have any time. I don't know what it is. It just goes by so fast.
Also, do you think that we find ourselves in like the mind space of a kid, like as it starts to kind of ramp up and we go back to, what we did as a kid or some of those nostalgic memories, and then we lose track of what we were supposed to be doing currently?
I think so. I think also just, it was interesting because we'll get to that later, but in the book about how making different Christmas memories and not maybe doing things how you did them. But yeah, like even for me with the kids, it's like, is that Elf on the Shelf coming back? And then it's like one other thing I have to think about. I was like, and my oldest he's 12 and a half. So he's at the age when we mention Santa, he kind of gives us this look. But we haven't officially said anything to him, but I think he knows the Santa deal, but he's kind of holding on to Santa's going to get me these gifts. So we're both kind of playing that game where we're like, we're not going to be the ones to say anything, but he's kind of playing us right now because he should technically just be asking for a gift from us. So it's this funny little thing going on with the kids for sure. So we're on Teams, and I know if you're listening, you can't see Tanya, but Tanya, your hair looks phenomenal.
I know. My gosh.
What's going on there?
It's always, I don't know. I let it dry by itself. Sometimes I do that. This is curl.
And that's the result?
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes I just let it dry. Like I was at home yesterday. I have a sick kitty. So I was home and just kind of monitoring her and making sure she's okay. So yeah, when I have time, I don't blow dry my hair because I blow dry my hair all the time, right? So I try to protect it. But thank you. I need to go see my hairdresser because I need I need color. It's a lot of gray. It's a lot of gray happening.
Yeah.
This is
hats.
What's going on here.
The
hat.
Toques this time of year. I mean, you can't get away with the toques in the spring and summer, but it's like cute now, right?
Nope.
And it's cold here, so I have a reason to wear my toque.
Yes, you're almost like
here.
full on winter now, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. It's actually nice. Like I don't like it when it gets to be -20 and there's no snow. There's got to be snow. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to kick our ass with cold, can you just give us something pretty to look at? So it's nice.
Do it right.
It's pretty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to get started?
Sure. Hi, it's Deb in Halifax.
Hi, it's Simone in Vancouver.
Hey, it's Tanya in Edmonton.
Well, our latest read is just in time for the holidays. The Holiday Honeymoon Switch from Julia McKay, or as we know her, Marissa Stapley. Trading places and vacations might just be the Christmas miracle these two best friends need. Holly Beech and Ivy Casey are bury the body besties. When Holly's fiancé jilts her, leaving her in shock and with a non-refundable honeymoon, Holly convinces Ivy to switch places. Ivy will go on the Hawaiian honeymoon her best friend can't bear to take alone, while Holly escapes to Ivy's rented Hudson Valley cabin to binge-watch holiday movies and heal. Holly's wallowing is interrupted when her rugged Airbnb host turns out to be her high school academic rival who's had a major glow-up. And Ivy's solo retreat is upended when Holly's ex checks into the honeymoon suite with a new woman. Enter the hot hotel bartender to come to her rescue. Against all odds, this Christmas might prove to be the most magical yet. So is this book all the holiday vibes we need, ladies?
Yes.
Yes. It's so rom-com, and typically, we have the story of Holly, and she's in this beautiful place called Crimbo where everything is holiday and magical, and it's cozy and cabins and snow falling right at the right times. And sometimes, that's how you feel Christmas should be. And when you think of the other side of it, we have one character who's in Hawaii, and sometimes you feel like a tropical vacation takes you away from it. But in this book, you still get the vibe of Mr. and Mrs. Claus and dolphins and Christmas luau's. So I feel like it was represented well with the two locations that also were kind of the characters in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course, in Edmonton, I'm more familiar with, the snow and cold. But, as I get older, I've often thought, maybe I'd like to go away for Christmas. Maybe I'd like to go somewhere hot. And so you see Ivy, and who's in Hawaii, and it is Christmas, all things Christmas, but she's on a beach, and it is beautiful out, and she's painting these ocean scenes and the sand and everything. I'm like, yeah, that is seriously talking to me.
Yeah, I love that idea. Although, because in Halifax and many parts of Canada, we've not had a lot of white Christmases in recent years. Things are changing up. So that picture perfect winter scene, I love. I think because it's not always guaranteed now. So I like the idea of the cozy and the traditional looking setting. But Hawaii, if somebody's paying for my trip, I'd be game too.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be magical if you could be snowed in inside a cabin, warm and cozy for, say, like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. So you get like that shut off from the world. And then on the 27th, you get on your flight and you go to Hawaii, and then you enjoy the sun and sand and celebrate New Year's on a beach. I feel like that would be the perfect marriage of the two.
Yeah. Can you order it for us, Simone?
Simone, that is awesome.
Is there Uber travel? Can we just book this and make it happen? But yeah, I've never been away for Christmas. We've gone away that window between Christmas and New Year's once to LA, and it was nice. But it was interesting because we had a big dumping of snow in Vancouver that year, and we were on like Santa Monica Beach. It was like everybody here was cold. And then before Christmas one year, we did Hawaii, and it was nice because it was very mele kalikimaka and festive, but also kind of nice. But I do enjoy Christmas at home, where you are in your space. So yeah, but this book was great. I almost wished it could have been two books. We hear the story of Holly, and then we get to Ivy. Like with the dual character timeline, sometimes I feel like you get the build, and then it's got to kind of wrap up quickly. And I feel like I wanted a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think
so
a lot
too.
more.
There is a lot more in this book. Wait until you get started. I think so too. Like I felt like I was, I'm reading Holly's story and I'm getting really engrossed in that. And then it switches to Ivy, because that's what this book is. It's Holly, then Ivy, Holly and Ivy. And yeah, you do get left with some sort of like, what's going to happen to Holly? And then all of a sudden you switch over to Ivy, But I wanted more. I think for me, like who resonated with me the most. Now I've never been to Hawaii for Christmas. I would love it, like Simone's described. But I think Holly's like cabin in the woods with the snow really appealed to me. And I kind of associated a little bit more with Holly than I did with Ivy. I think maybe just because of the location. I'm more familiar with that, right? But both really interesting stories. And yeah, there's a whole bunch that you could really develop with both of these characters. And I think they could have their very own story,
Yeah. Was there one character, like their own personality, their own storyline that you connected more with, not necessarily the setting?
I feel like maybe Ivy for me, because I am very spontaneous and just make decisions, where you think Holly is a little bit more of a thinker. She likes to kind of plan things, have things a certain way. And as much as I like that, I'm sometimes just someone who wants to just like do something now and get the decisions made and do that. So that part of it, I felt like I connected with Ivy, even though Holly became a little bit like Ivy a little later. But I liked the setting of the cabin and the whole vibes there and like the family and that little, the community they've built for the holidays and how magical it is. So it kind of makes you think about, the traditional Christmas or holidays you have with family, friends, little community. And then there's the ones where, people have traveled and moved to different parts of the world and now they've kind of created their own families and the Friendsmas and that kind of thing. So that was the Hawaii vibe, but I've never really connected to that part of it. But location-wise, I was all about that cabin and the snow. So, yeah. What about for you, Deb?
So Ivy, I think like her free spirit and Simone, you're, spontaneous. I love that. And I think that's part of me. But I think how Holly was left with her ex, how she was treated, I feel that's part of me as well. So I think I connected a little more or felt more badly for her situation. And I don't think I would know what to do because in past incidents or relationships, when I've kind of been left high and dry and trying to figure and sort things out, if I had somebody beside me, like if I don't know, so that part of me is Holly, but I like the side of Ivy where you just go. You just go and you don't care and, you live life as it should be today, as it might be tomorrow and see what happens.
But isn't that interesting, Deb, like how you put it? Like, those of us who've gone through like that deep heartbreak, that heartbreak sometimes can linger for so long, months, years. And then for some, this all happened within a week for her. She was able to find someone else. Like as bad as it is, if we've gotten out of a bad situation, you just don't know what tomorrow holds. Are you going to be grieving this relationship or is it a friendship or whatever for a long period of time? Or are you going to find a new best friend tomorrow? That's just the interesting part of life.
Yeah.
And I think, part of this book was about Holly had her whole life planned, right? Like she went out with this guy, Matt, for 10 years and that was going to be her life. And I think sometimes we, if we get into situations, we think, my life is always going to be like this, right? But we don't know that one little thing can change our life completely. And it can be something huge, like what happened with Holly. Matt leaves her the eve of her wedding. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. And, and her life takes a change. And of course, in Ivy's thinking, I'm going to go have like an art honeymoon and I'm going to go work on my art. And all of a sudden she's going off to Hawaii. And of course, both these women have things happen to them in their locations. And I just think, wow, sometimes our lives we never really know what is going to happen from one day to the next. And sometimes there's a beauty in that because sometimes I think life can get kind of like, it's never going to change, and then something happens and it completely changes, which is the case for Holly. And I'm thinking about those two characters. Like I'm very much like Holly. I like to plan stuff and I kind of envied Ivy for her. She, Holly used to say about Ivy, like she just goes after and gets what she wants. In particular, like they were talking about sex one time and like, yep, Ivy just says, yep, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. Bang, she's gone and she gets what she wants. And Holly's like a little bit more timid with that. And I loved Ivy for that. And I was like, I'd like to be a little bit more like Ivy, just be a little bit more carefree, but I get stuck in my sameness sometimes. So I think this book just kind of gives you sort of like, life can change and we don't know really what's going to happen from one day to the next.
That's why we all need to go to Hawaii because we're in a different setting and then anything goes because when you are in a different space, you will do the things that you wouldn't necessarily do at home or around where, you're afraid that a friend or a family member might see you doing something that, they're going to judge me for this. Go to Hawaii, everything will be fine.
And good on Holly for sticking to her plan. Like she wanted to go and paint and she did quite a bit of painting. Whereas me, you'd go on vacation, you take a book or you take something to do. That book does not get unpacked. I see something shiny and I get distracted and I'm like, I'm doing this. So she kept that focus for a long time. So I was like, wow, she's not just like on vacation doing whatever she wants. She's actually like, no, I have a purpose as to why I'm here and I'm sticking to it. So that was commendable, I guess.
Yeah.
And what about the men in this book? Are you like Team Aiden or Team Oliver?
Oh, well, it's like, she describes him as kind of like Superman, Henry Cavill, and then you've got like the Ryan Gosling vibes, and both are attractive. But I like the rugged man who can just do everything for you. I like that. Like, he's coming to her rescue and he's helping her with all these things she can't figure out in the cabin. So I definitely like that. Like, it's nice to have a man who's just hot to look at as well, but it's a man who's functional as well. It's kind of nice.
And those reindeer boxer shorts, come on. If there's a man in my kitchen wearing nothing but rainbow boxer shorts cooking me eggs, like that would be all I want for Christmas is, wow.
But yeah, that
what
was
about
for
you,
me.
Deb?
Yeah, I have to agree. I like the idea, again, because Hawaii, or even if it's not Hawaii, a trip elsewhere, you find a guy and something happens and all these exciting things. Maybe he's not the guy that you would date or see yourself with in your own hometown. But yeah, the guy who is a jack of all trades, it's just, there's something there.
Oh, and helping that elderly man, what was his name? And when they go George, like George,
yes,
they go visit him. They've set up a schedule so he's not lonely. Like that, there needs to be more of that in the world, where sometimes, if you're on your own, you're like, okay, I haven't called my parent. I haven't done that. You get stressed out. But it's like if you have siblings and you set up a little schedule and you say, okay, these are your days and these are my days, or you have, people or relatives and you're like, okay, we're all going to check in on this one person who maybe doesn't get those regular check-ins. So I thought that was a beautiful part of Aiden's story as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I wanted, when they went into George's house, because he lives on a Christmas tree farm, and they go into his house and how the author described like how this house looked inside, all the Christmas trees, how it smelled. I'm like, I want to go into that house and stay forever, because it was just like, I could just feel sort of the love and warmth of what Christmas is for me, and I'm like, I want to stay with George and Mrs. Claus like forever. But I did like Simone said, like I loved how this little town of Crimbo, they, this 90-year-old man who lost his wife recently, and the townspeople basically have a schedule to go in and check in on him so that he can stay in his home. And I'm like, that is, I think what everybody wants is that lovely community that just so accepts us and helps us and allows us to just be, and I just, I love that character and I love that kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aiden's family too, eh? Like, it took a while for his sister. We find out a little something about her. She's a different character, but I guess the hard shell, right? She's protecting her family or wanting to protect her family. And then you find out that she's got a soft spot as well. But, his parents and, they were so warm and accepting of Holly. And it was so beautiful.
Yeah, and even those dramatic moments didn't last very long. Like, they was quick to resolve things. Sometimes it's like you read a book and it's like there's this back and forth for a long time. And this was like mistakes were made, but people were forgiven right away. It was like, that's how life should be. We shouldn't hold on to something so long because of our egos and our pride. Like, if we could just move on, wouldn't that be perfect?
Oh, my gosh.
And I think that's one of the things about this book that I love. Like, it is perfect for this time of year because it doesn't hold on to regrets or anger or anything like that. Life is life. There's stuff like that that's happening in the book. But, we read this book and it's like there's little things and then it just moves on. It keeps moving forward. It's happy. It makes you feel good. And it is the perfect book for this time of year to just nestle in on a couch, grab a blanket, and just dig into it because it's a lovely read. It really is a lovely read.
It is. Yeah.
Now, their friendship, they have such a strong friendship. They met as strangers, had an instant bond, became best friends, which is rare. Have either of you experienced that, where you met someone and then instantly fell in love and now have continued or maintained a friendship like that?
I do have a couple of girlfriends. I mean, they weren't complete strangers. They were friends of friends. And then when one of the friends in the circle left, left our friendships, that person became even closer to me. We became better friends once they left, once they were out of the picture. They were a little toxic. But yeah, and we discovered that we should have been hanging out more than having that other person in our life. We were spending more time with them than we were with each other, and found a lot of great things, more things in common. And yeah, they are part of my life, and I can't imagine not having them.
Yeah, I think, I have a couple of like lifelong friends that I knew when I was, little. But I think as an adult, meeting someone for the first time, when I first moved to Vancouver, working in radio, and I didn't know anybody, and the receptionist said, let's go down to the pub, I want you to meet a friend of mine, Kim. I'm like, okay. So we go to this little Irish pub, and Kimmy was there. She's a Brit through and through, and we instantly connected. And she is still one of my best friends in Vancouver. I always go see her. And the thing I love about her is that she's completely non-judgmental. Like, she is the type of friend where I can go to her with anything, things that I might be afraid to say to some people, and she has no judgment. She just listens. And she may give me advice, she may not, but she's just there as a supportive person. So I think that maybe that's the person that I definitely connected with, who I didn't know, and to this day, she's still, one of my best friends. So it happens.
It does. And yeah, I've got a few friends like that too. And it's nice because I'm generally a social butterfly, and I love, you're going out and meeting new people, and I can make social connections. But, it's sometimes a lot more surface level because of what we do in the industry we're in. But then I've got, like you said, like this core group of friends that I've kind of collected along the way, lost some along the way. But those are the ones, like you say, Tanya, like non-judgmental. Those are the core. Those are the people that I will let down the guard with, and they know everything about me. And it's outside of the personality of who I am in public. Like, they know the deep parts of me, and I can really share with them. And that's beautiful too. And I think that's just it. Like, having those core friends, maybe if it's not a best friend, having a group of collective best friends, because we are older now. You might not have that one from high school or elementary school. It's just nice to have that connection and just have someone to lean on. And it was interesting there. They've always been honest with each other, but then they had to keep some secrets, but they're protecting each other. So that's a tough part of a friendship too, is when you know information, and, especially when you're married and you've heard stories like, we've had partners who have divorced and people were cheating and this, and then, you know information, but you're like, you can't, you don't want to bring it up. You don't want to share things. So it gets messy, at times. But, in this story, there was some protecting of the friendship. And then they worked it out as well. And that's when you know a friendship is real, is when you can go through a little bit of those trials and tribulations and come out on top. It's like sometimes friendships are more work than actual relationships.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a group of university friends who we all met in residence. We all lived together. So we were all strangers. And we have like an app chat thing going on, and we chat every day. And that is a safe space. Most of them are moms, and they've got family. People have things going on. Like, there's a lot going on in all of their lives. And that's a place where if they can't find anywhere else in the day, they'll just dump it there, and we'll be there as the cheerleaders in the background. And it feels good, like, because you know that there will always be a space for you. And the longer we've been, the more years that pass, the better we become in these friendships, these relationships, and we find more things that we love about each other every day. It's really, it's a cool thing. And I think that the author really, did something with these two friends. Like, it is a love, that a lot of girlfriends have. I don't know that men have the same types of relationships. Like, these friendships are true and true. And I think that love shows with Holly and Ivy, and it's a special thing.
It is. It's a beautiful friendship, and she did a great job with it. There were times where I was like, they need to talk more, because they kind of took that space during the vacation, and I was like, check in a little bit more, message a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right? But
the details that you need to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Tanya had put this out in our questions, but is there a favorite movie that either of you watch this time of year?
This book, The Holiday, right?
The Holiday.
Like,
That's my go-to movie every year. I like it more than Love Actually, which is, a favorite for so many. That and Four Christmases with Reese Witherspoon. Those two I cannot, not watch on my own. I enjoy it. They're kind of my little rom-com stories with the kids. You've got Home Alone and The Christmas Story. But for me, and so when I was looking into a little bit more on this book in the background, the author, Marissa, actually said it was based kind of on the holiday, but she wanted the two friends to be best friends. Whereas in the film, Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet, their characters don't know each other. They just do the swap, but it was like kind of based on that. And when I heard that, I was like, that's pretty magical. So those are definitely my go-to this time of year. I love that moment where she just goes into the grocery store and just picks up a bottle of wine and some food. And I was like, oh, that's the best when you can just have that solo night to yourself during the holidays because it's busy, chaotic family. And if you get that me time and you get to watch a movie with some drinks, it's perfect.
Pretty awesome. I love Scrooged with Bill Murray, and I think it's just my weird sense of humor because there's like this one scene where he's like, he's obviously trying to do this big production, and this old guy comes up to him, and he's got this little mouse, and he says, "Oh, I can't seem to get the antlers to stick on this little guy, and he's always, falling off." And Bill Murray's character goes, "Have you tried Staples?" It just makes me laugh. This poor little mouse. Anyway, so I always watch Scrooged. But there's also the one, I think, Simone, did you mention it? The one with the Four Christmases.
Four Christmases.
No, the one with
The Christmas Story?
It takes place, the Prime Minister.
Love Actually.
Love
Actually.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, I like watching that one. I do. I like watching that one. Yeah.
There was talk of a sequel for that. Like it's been years in the making, but I don't actually know if that's happening.
I think Hugh Grant talked about it recently because he was in that, right? Hugh Grant. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He did, or somebody else in the movie had recently said, "I don't think that's going to happen." But yeah, I like the rom-coms, the traditional fun rom-coms. You know how it's going to wrap up, but also the chaos of the season, like a movie that has chaos, so then you can feel like, oh, it's not just me. Okay, good.
Yeah, and this book was great. It would make for a great film or holiday rom-com. Have either of you watched any of the Hallmark movies? I saw Hot Frosty come up about a snowman that melts and turns into a hot hunk, and I was like, I don't know if I'm quite there yet.
I watched it.
Did you?
Did you see it?
No.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
How
I watched
was
it, and it's actually not bad.
Okay,
it's funny.
Which one is
cutesy.
that?
Hot Frosty.
Hot Frosty. So it's a snowman. She talks to the snowman, and then suddenly
he becomes a hot
he comes
hunk.
to life just like the Frosty does.
Is that real life? So if we, build a snowman,
I'm going to go downtown.
I'm going to go out right after this, and I'm going to go build a snowman.
They're like, why are Deb and Tanya just standing outside staring at the snow? And you're like, we're waiting for it to turn into a hot, chiseled man.
Give
for
us
the
a
holidays.
We have that magical hat here.
All right, I know what I'm watching tonight. Okay,
right?
Yeah. And there was another one recently that I watched the last weekend or so, and it was Pentatonics. So they're in the movie. This girl's a big fan, and this guy's a big fan. They meet each other. They were both having, in different relationships at the time. They meet at the airport. And they're like, okay, you know what? If it's meant to be, how about we go see Pentatonics in New York City next Christmas if we're single, and then we know it's meant to be. And then some other things happen along the way. It's cute. I liked it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, this book has all the makings of that perfect holiday rom-com. Now, if it comes down to it, we already talked about the locations we would choose, but are you more team Christmas or more team New Year's? Like, what is the celebration for you out of those two? Because you get both in that time of year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I do love, both Holly and Ivy are like, they love New Year's because it is a brand new, it's a fresh start. Every year, it's a fresh start, and I do love that about it. I used to always go on, the running room does a New Year's Eve run, a New Year's Day run. And there was a few years where I would always, get up at the crack of dawn and go run with a bunch of people New Year's Day, thinking that would wow. I haven't done it for a while, but I always thought, look, this will get my, my year started off right. So I mean, I love New Year's for that, but I'm not a big New Year's person. I don't like to go out. I just like to be very. I like to go to a movie. My best thing is like going to a movie at 10:30 at night and come out in the new year.
I've never done that.
That's what I really like to do. And then
cool.
run to a bar and down a glass of Prosecco and you're good, right?
Oh, I love that.
But I love the warm and fuzzy of Christmas.
Yeah.
When my mom was alive, I loved it more, I think, because she really was everything about Christmas. So, but it's up to the kids to keep that going, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 15, 20 years ago, I was more about New Year's Eve. And if I'm going away, I think it's more fun. But yeah, the warmth that comes with Christmas and all the feels, it's nice.
Great read for this time of year, for sure. Mm-hmm. So pick up a copy of the Honeymoon Holiday Switch from Julia McKay. Enjoy it this time of year. And on our next podcast episode, we will be talking to Marissa Stapley, who goes by the pen name Julia McKay, and we will ask her all of our burning questions about this book. Take care for now.
Thank you for kicking back and relaxing with us. We hope you'll join us again on Relaxing Reads.